This is Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action, and you're listening to the Krypton Report.
Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's
the Krypton Report! Welcome to the Krypton Report Podcast, presented by the Southgate Media Group.
The All Things Kryptonian podcast, including Superman and Supergirl.
We discuss games, movies, cartoons, TV shows, and comics.
Krypton Report Pod can be found on Facebook, Twitter, Skype, YouTube, and Instagram.
And if you want to drop us a line, send it to kryptonreportpod@gmail.com.
We are on Patreon under Southgate Media Group.
And our official merch page is tpublic.com. Search Krypton Report.
Now on with the show.
Welcome back to the Krypton Report. It's going to be kind of a double episode. See, the small town that I live in, the third week in October is called Pumpkin Show. The entire town is involved, which means lots of traffic, late hours. It's a big carnival, festival, bazaar, but don't call it Pumpkin Festival. People get so mad. So it kind of threw us for a loop and kept us back a week just because Junia was working late hours down at the shop. I was working late hours. I mean, the town goes nuts. So we're going to kind of play catch up this week. And of course, when I see we, I mean my other half, that man in red, that Crimson Crusader, the great, the powerful Superman Red, Mr. James Cole.
Hey, Tyler. Yeah, I don't know what, Crimson Chin? Is that what it is? Fairly unfair.
So, yes, we just had Pumpkin Show and last week, and then, of course, this week was Halloween, so it always throws us back. I wanted to try to get ahead on this one, but just timing. It happens. Life.
Yeah, well, those who love Halloween, October is a busy month.
Oh, it's busy here, so... and guess what? It's now pouring the rain outside.
Oh, it's been raining all day here. Woke up to rain and it has not stopped. I just went outside to look for my tablet because I think my kids took it to their mother's house, which I not approve of, but I went outside and it's still raining.
Thank you, Ohio.
I'd rather rain than snow, I guess.
Yeah. I agree. I worry about when it starts to snow. But, alright, so here we go. We're going to discuss Supergirl Season 4, Episode 2. And I do want to put a little bit of a disclaimer out. Okay? This season is definitely going to be very political and allegorical. And that's fine. That's cool. That's the story they want to tell. I just want to say that I hate politics. And we live in a very political society right now. And I'm not going to talk personal politics. If anything that we talk about, everything that will be discussed will be in the context of the show. As we will dive into an episode about how people view things, it'll all be built into the context of the show. It has no reference to what any personal political views or anything will be. I just don't want to get into that. We're here to talk about Superman, Supergirl, and have fun. The real world's chaotic now. I just want to have fun and escape a little. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, everybody's been, for as long as I can remember, everybody's always been so divided. It's always like one extreme or the other. There's no middle ground. And it's surprising that it's even gone further to each end. So that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. So I just want to throw that out there because, it's not, who cares what I think, my thoughts are mine. Your thoughts are yours. I just want to have fun and talk Superman and Supergirl. So we're going to get into Season 4, Episode 2, Fallout. Turn to my handy dandy notes. And This definitely noticed in this episode, the new intro with how she's talking. And I mean, I like the intro, the voiceovers, but they seem so awkward because it seems like each season they're more and more relaxed. Like, I'm Kara Zor-El. I came to Earth when my planet blew up.
Right. Well, this year she calls herself a refugee.
Yeah. And of course we have new edits in when they talk about her cousin Superman.
Yep. Tyler Hoechlin.
In a different, it has the scene of him running down the alley, which was one of my favorites. Gave me chills the first time I saw it, in that special trailer. We get to see the Oval Office, which was kind of a really cool set to see, the Oval Office. And it makes me wonder, because we know that they're phasing out the president, Linda Carter, and they're bringing in the vice president, Tron. Basically.
Yeah.
But we got an amazing shot that definitely was very just classic of when Supergirl catches the American flag that's falling and she lands and she's standing there holding it.
Yeah, all the protesters outside, one side and the other, they start fighting and cause a news van to crash into a flagpole. And yeah, that Supergirl with the flag posted up. Yeah, it's an iconic image.
And did the protesters give you any BVS flashbacks?
A little bit. Alien, Go Home, that kind of stuff. Yep.
It's kind of man, this is what we're dealing with, And since we're going to be talking more about they've always talked a little bit about the aliens being part of society on Supergirl, and over the past, we saw the alien bar, but we never got a whole lot. Every alien that we met outside, the DEO or Fort Ross, was either a villain or in hiding. And this is really showing us how the aliens have come to Earth. And I guess for me, I'd like a little bit more dialogue maybe about that National City was chosen or something as a safe city to harbor aliens. So you have a high alien population in National City, maybe because of Supergirl, that they're there. And, instead of trying to show the entire world and all of the US what they're dealing with aliens, it might make it easier to focus on one city as it's an open city for aliens to come. There's an open invitation or something. Just because of what we'll see later, considering that we've had Kryptonian attack. We've had Daxamites. We had the Kryptonian witches. You know what I'm saying? So it just kind of makes a little bit more sense for me. So instead of worrying about what the rest of the world is doing with aliens, just to kind of focus with National City because they're welcoming of aliens.
Yeah, they have the White House set. So, and not this episode, but Kasnia beforehand, and so we know we're gonna go around, but it's with everything that's going on. There's going to be a hard focus on what's happening in National City with the cast and with who's involved.
I do like that. It seems like we get a couple new shots, different angles of Catco, which was cool. It was really quick. It was just refreshing for me. But we got some history about Mercy. And this was cool, is how Mercy and Lena have a history, because Mercy was Lex's number one, but Mercy kind of took Lena under her wing.
Yeah, big sister.
And Lena's such a great character in the fact that she's a Luthor, but she's not blood. So it makes it very interesting to see what choices she will or won't make. And, we get a little about their history, and Lena is prepared to confront Mercy. And I really think this is going to be the make or break season for Lena.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some things that she says, about, why she doesn't think that, or why shouldn't humans reach the potential of the aliens? Why shouldn't they have abilities and powers? And they talk about the suit, the power suit that she develops, and
yeah, she improves Lex's, power suit, and she's already L-Corp is making, as we'll get into, the devices that are masking the aliens to look human, because the
image inducers.
The next scene is we have an image inducer Brainiac who goes to the pizza place that he always goes to, and he orders pizza, and he's waiting, and we see Mercy is hacking into L-Corp, causing problems, and his image inducer messes up, revealing himself to the pizza shop owner, who then immediately takes offense and attacks Brainiac.
Which about Mercy, like how bad of a person does that make her? Because they didn't specify that the technician that she killed, she killed him on the elevator, because they bring it up later. She doesn't just choke him out and take his stuff. They bring it up later that she kills him. They don't mention or anything that he was an alien or anything. So she goes to kill people as well as aliens. Like, she is just an evil witch.
If you're not with her, then you're against her. That's pretty much her motto.
Yeah. The interesting thing I thought about that, though, is it was the first image inducer, and that's what they bring up. It's the first image inducer that gets knocked offline, which is Brainiac. But he had the image inducer later in the season last year. It was the first instance of an image inducer, and when was the person to guess what it was? Like, so they didn't bring it up. Did the DEO and L-Corp kind of commission this image inducer thing, and that's why it's hooked into the system?
Yeah, I mean,
it's just an interesting thought I had about it.
It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it would be kind of neat if we saw like other scenes of other aliens having problems with theirs, because we only experienced it through Brainy.
Yeah, they did bring it. They did say it was the first one that went offline, which would be him. And either way, to think about it, it was a very good scene when his does go offline. Instantly, they just hate him. All the employees come out and try to attack him, and then you get Mia in there standing up for him.
So Mia left to get coffee, and she goes to a pizzeria to get coffee. How close is the DEO to Catco? Like, it has to be in walking distance for, I guess Brainy could be farther out, so he could fly, but just my first instinct would not be to go to a pizzeria for coffee.
No. From the way they made it sound in previous episodes and seasons, there would be like coffee right downstairs in the building at Catco.
Exactly. There's a coffee cart too.
Yeah. The was it second season or third season where they chased the person from the third season?
Yep.
Chased the guy from the coffee cart right downstairs, right outside on the street.
We get a shot of John, and remember Fiona, okay? First episode was killed by Agent Liberty. He's walking around her house, and he sees her wedding invitation, and it says, Fiona in Manchester's wedding. So that's the first hint at Manchester Black.
Yes. And the bartender says something about him being in England.
So are they going to make Manchester an alien? Like, I don't know how I feel about that, if that's where they go. And we'll explore that when we find out what they do with Manchester. But yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if she or if he would be the alien. I assume she's the alien.
She is, but
yeah.
Is he going to be one too?
Right. Or is he just in a relationship with an alien and he didn't have a problem with it? So how is that going to going to develop his character? Because obviously he would want to fight against these people who had killed Fiona.
Yeah.
But then is he going to take it too far? And is that why? Because, that's the story of Black and the Elite versus, Superman is they take it too far. And,
that was James and I's first podcast. We reviewed Superman versus the Elite.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's kind of my thought, it's like, if he's an alien, okay, like, I just kind of want to wait and see. We get some kind of fun scenes of Kara, because we see that she's with Lena and Miss Tessmacher in Elcor when Mercy's like breaking in, and Kara can't get away to become Supergirl. So she keeps doing these little things where she's like hits the door, uses her heat vision or whatever, and then makes up like an excuse like, oh, it was this, or they are really bad shots.
Yeah, she catches the bullets, she stops the door, she sneezes.
And I'm like, that's cool. That's kind of fun, like playfulness, but at the same time, Lena's a really smart person.
Yeah, the one thing I'm curious about is it kind of sounded like Alex was like talking through her phone, almost like a walkie-talkie, and she was Supergirl, and like Miss Tessmacher and Lena are right there, and she's like, yeah, it's me, Kara. No, Supergirl isn't here yet, and
yeah,
like that was kind of a dead ringer. Like Lena. To me, Lena looked a little intrigued when it was like Supergirl.
Lena is not stupid. That's all I'm saying.
No.
But so that was really fun, and we have it ends up that we have Lena fighting Mercy in like the basement area of like her lab where she's been improving the Lex suit. Which was really cool because she had like a glove on, and they take down Mercy, and she gets arrested by the DEO.
Yeah, she finally tells Kara, "Get out of here," and she finally gets the chance to become Supergirl and come in.
Little too convenient, but we'll let it slide. And it's funny that we find out that Brainy, his name that he goes by is Barney.
Yeah, I like that. He ordered a dozen pizzas and he only walked out with 5.
Yeah, maybe the rest weren't made, but man, just saying pizza makes me hungry.
And also, he eats apples and olive on his pizza. I mean,
yeah.
that's a pretty interesting choice. And people eat pineapple on their pizza.
I just stick to the basic meats and some vegetables.
Yeah, right.
This is the Pizza Report Podcast, brought to you by All Pizza.
Well, we found out last week that Raven doesn't like, or the week before, that Raven doesn't like pineapple on her pizza.
Nope. And Dick was like, "Of course not."
Obviously not pineapple on pizza.
Yeah. Duh.
Hey, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I've had Hawaiian pizza before, and I mean, I'm okay with it. It's not my go-to, but I'm not one of these people who it's like the worst thing ever.
It's weird, but there are weirder things. So I thought this was kind of ingenious that they used the device the DEO used to put lead in the air to fight the Daxamites. They put kryptonite in it and shoot it into the air, taking down Kara. And our final image is her flying, inhaling kryptonite, and then she just starts to fall.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Superman's off-world, so he doesn't have to deal with this.
Right. Well, wasn't that the original intention of the device, was to put kryptonite particulates in the air, and they adjusted it to do the lead particulates in the air?
I want to say yes, but I don't remember.
That was second season, so it's a little far back. Whole year.
Yeah, I mean, lots happened, and I haven't got to re-watch Supergirl straight through like I'd like to as much. I've just been busy, 2 kids, life.
Mm-hmm.
So
the only episodes of season 2 I've gotten to rewatch is the premiere and exactly the premiere and the second episode with Superman in it.
Yep.
Same.
But that was Fallout. I thought it was strong. It was a good, continuation of where we left off. It's setting the stage with showing us for lack of a better term, the racial climate against aliens.
Yeah, the xenophobia. What I really liked about the whole episode had its good moments, its ups and downs. Sometimes I think Mercy is a little over the top with her the woman acting. I think her acting for some of her little speeches trying to convince people, like when she was trying to convince Agent Jansen, who helped them escape. I think that she's a little over the top sometimes, but Sam at the end, when they release the kryptonite into the air and John is at the Earth First rally and Sam Witwer, Agent Liberty, is giving his Earth First speech, is really good. And it pairs so well with the image of the kryptonite and her getting irradiated and falling and everything. It was really good ending.
It was definitely a great cliffhanger. Like, I'm surprised they did it as early in the season as they did. Because I kind of feel like that would be a great, mid-season cliffhanger.
Right? Her falling irradiated with kryptonite?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, so that's Fallout, and we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk comic books. Now, if you don't know, James and I do review the Superman in Action comic books, but we always put them up on our YouTube. But today we're going to go ahead and throw them into this episode. So if you haven't read it, we're going to discuss Superman 4, which got the fun foil cover of Rogol Zaar's ugly face.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to jump on in. And basically, I read this book, okay? And you know what I remember about it?
What's that?
Very little.
Very little.
And I don't mean to be mean or anything, but like we've talked about before, so little happens of significance that I don't really remember. I do remember, it's Superman fighting Rogol Zaar. Rogol Zaar has all of his forces. They're in the Phantom Zone. And my favorite part in this book was when Superman has his little flashback and he's talking to John.
Yeah, that was really good. I mean, heavy on the action, the art for the action is spectacular. And, his flashback with John, one of my favorite parts is when he talks about he wants to pop Batman's head off his body.
Yeah. I mean,
and that just shows, and that just shows that Superman is still a person. You know what I mean? He still gets angry. Obviously, he has to think about it more. He can't act on his emotions. He has to think them through because of everything he's capable of.
Exactly. He's teaching John about being patient, and that's kind of what's going on. Is he's falling to Earth, being beaten by Rogol Zaar. And he's waiting.
He's literally kind of just being a distraction, kind of stalling for time at this point as the Atom and the Flash try to shrink the Earth and take it through the Phantom Zone projector portal.
And Superman's also talking to Daxter to explain to him what Rogol Zaar had told him about Krypton and why is he helping him. And, you know, like you said, heavy on the action. And Rogolzar just keeps beating on him.
Yeah, this one was a quick read.
It is a quick read. I mean, honestly, like, it's just action page. And we see that the Earth gets out, but Superman is in the Phantom Zone with just him and Rogolzar now. And Rogolzar states, "And now you're trapped with me." And Superman says, "The thing is, I don't mind being stuck here. I've been in far worse places." Rogolzar says, "No Krypton. You have not." That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but...
Yeah, I think that's a typo. It might have supposed to maybe Kryptonian.
Yeah.
I had to reread that. I had to look at it a couple of times when I first read it.
The last page is Adam Strange up there. You know, he's saying, "I need to report a missing planet, the Earth, Terra, and then it says, next. So, I mean, it was good. Like, it was just a quick read. I mean, my biggest favorite part is Superman and John talking, as Superman's basically just stalling and being patient and making time.
Yeah, it's a small step up from the...
Also, side note, inside the printed book, on the last page, is Supergirl advertisement for the series. And it says, "A force against fear," and there's like red around her. I wouldn't mind them doing the Rage of the Red Lanterns with Supergirl. That could be a fun story arc.
Yeah. That might, I don't know. I wonder if that, I've seen that image, and it's the image that they have up on the CW app for Supergirl as well. Mm-hmm. I wonder if it's more of the Red Daughter aspect of it, as they're kind of referring to the other Supergirl as Red Daughter.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much possible. I mean, we haven't seen her in, spoiler, 2 episodes now. But, all right.
Yeah.
Now we're going to jump to Superman in Action Comics 1004. And it's called Invisible Mafia Part 4. And continuing its tradition, we open the first page is a computer desk area, and this time it's Lois Lane's.
Mm-hmm.
We have some cool... I love the opening line that's on her. Like, if you look at what she's typing, her story. Where it says,
I read that.
"Regardless of political affliction, truth no longer stands as a universal concept everyone agrees on. Justice often only serves some, not all our citizens, as the nightly news shows day after day." And then you can continue on. But I just think that's really deep and really important with what she's saying. If you also look on her little notepad, it says Jurgen's case files, Byrne, Bendis, Man of Steel, Swan. So just kind of some fun stuff, you know.
Yes. Comparison, Byrne, Bendis, Man of Steel, ?
Let's see. Her phone says text from Snapper Card. And then we're in the Daily Planet. And Clark's walking around looking good, talking to Perry about Red Cloud. And Perry keeps saying, "You mean Red Tornado?" And he's like, "No, they said a red cloud." He's like, "Are you sure?" I don't know what to make of Perry. Sometimes, I mean, I just don't know how they're doing Perry, but I guess that's Perry. Like, where he stands is very neutral on everything, it seems.
Right.
You know, everyone says, "Oh, Clark, you're looking better." And then Perry...
Well, kind of what's nice about what's kind of nice about that, I think, Perry being really neutral about everything is that line about truth from the first page, you know. And how often do we see nowadays with internet articles where it's just random nonsense? Like, it doesn't even have to be factual to be printed or posted or anything like that. So it's kind of nice, like, he wants truth. He wants the full story. He wants it, with references and with facts, and he wants the truth.
What we so long for.
Yes.
And it's sad. We see Clark get pulled into Perry's office and the gossip columnist holds up a tablet that shows Lois Lane and Lex Luthor in an apartment and says, any comment? And Perry basically shushes her out. And, then Perry asks Clark, like, what's going on? And, Perry's talking, and then we see, like, Clark, we see the shirt rip and everything, and then we see him sit down, and then we have, like, a flashback, it looks like, to when, in the last issue, where he found Lois, and she was back. And then we get them having some pillow talk, post-marital relation discussions. And I don't know how I feel about this Lois Lane.
I had some thoughts about that, like some questions. What is she doing? What is she like getting at? This version of Superman and Lois. They've been married for a long time. They have John. They have a kid who is, how old is he? 10, 11 years old at least. If not 12 or so.
Mm-hmm.
But she does go on to say that, she is with him, that's not going to change.
But it's just weird the way she talks about, like, how they're never going to have they're never going to be a normal family. And then she says, hey, just so we're, perfectly 100% clear, we're not breaking up. We just both have important work to do. And I just thought it was odd that she even had to say that. Like, with as much as this couple's been through and where they stand, it just...
Yeah.
And then her basically saying, like, she needs her writing, John doesn't need her. And, like, I don't know, it's weird that she left. She didn't, like, come back and tell Clark she's back.
Yeah. Well, her normal has changed, for a long time. Her normal was just Daily Planet, Clark and Superman and Jonathan. And she, it's changed. She left the planet. Jonathan's growing up. He doesn't need her. She's not working at the planet anymore. So it's just, it's a change. And I think they boiled it down pretty good when she said that it's, I just have to do what I have to do and you have to do what you have to do. But we are still together and that's not going to change.
You mean you're right? I don't know. It just feels weird.
Yeah, it wasn't what I expected either. Reading it and them having their conversation.
I just feel like, I don't know anymore. I just feel like with each Superman book that comes out, and I like, what do you call it? Action more.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like with each book that gets released, I'm getting less and less interested in reading it, than I was before. During that the Rebirth era, like, I loved everything. I was so excited to read every book that hit. And anymore, I just feel like, I don't know, like you're taking everything that I was loving about where the character was and what was going on, and it's just slowly coming undone.
Yeah. Well, they have to make some changes and some different challenges, and it's going to take different turns after 80 years.
Yeah.
So
and that's where,
for the good or for the bad,
that's where we were. Like, I just don't want another, like, early 2000s.
Yeah. Well, I hope that they, they're bringing different dynamics into the relationships of the characters stuff. I just hope that as it progresses, that those relationships don't lose those relationships just for the sake of creating drama for the characters. Because that's a strong thing with the relationship with the characters is their relationships with each other.
I mean, exactly. I mean, that's what makes the Superman book fun, is the relationships he's built. Like, I love seeing Superman as a dad. So we get a scene of Copperhead attacking the planet after the gossip columnist. Superman swoops in, takes Copperhead to Iron Heights, looks around, makes some jokes, like says hi to everyone that he knows, points to the death of Superman, says the good old days. Jimmy says, I know, right? And then he looks over at Jimmy, and then Lois makes a comment about her, my own newspaper, and then Superman comes on the balcony and sees her, and goes back to what you said. They're holding each other in the sky, and she says, don't let go. I won't, Clark. So, I mean, it's like they're still working through it. I don't know. It kind of gave me the off feeling, like they're trying to find a way to almost break Lois and Clark up.
Yeah, I hope it's not the route that they take. Changing their dynamic. One with John being off world, who knows what it's going to be like when he returns, and her not being a reporter, being a writer, them having that distance between each other, not being together every day at work and at home, changes up the dynamic. I find the dynamic change okay. I just hope they don't change the relationship, which it seems, don't let go. I won't, Clark. Doesn't seem like they're going to. And then we got next the Red Cloud revealed. So may come to find out who is the Red Cloud.
Any thoughts? I don't have any.
Well, they gave us a few people in the beginning and kind of said it was going to be one of these people. So it doesn't seem like it's Robinson Good. I highly doubt it's Lois, unless it's not Lois, but which would kind of explain some of the different interaction, but I don't think it's her. They also gave it could possibly be the gossip columnist, and I mean, they haven't done anything with her except for her trying to ambush Clark all the time about his relationship with Lois and what happened. So I don't know who it could be. I just don't think it's Lois or Robinson Good. And there's somebody else. I can't remember who the other person was that they had said it could be.
The fire chief lady.
Oh yeah, the fire chief. We haven't seen her in a couple of issues either. So,
but
could be her. She disappeared, right?
Could be. I mean, seriously, it could be. All right. So now we're going to jump back for those following us. So that if you haven't seen the newest episode of Supergirl, you can watch it here and come back to us. But now we're going to discuss Supergirl Season 4, Episode 3, Man of Steel. Now, was this episode perfectly titled or what?
Yeah, it was actually very aptly titled. I was surprised at what it means.
And what we're talking about is this episode was great because James and I talked a little bit off mic about this after we saw it. Text messages, which we usually try not to say too much about stuff to hold it for mic. But so many times do we get these villainous plots where we're just told something like, oh, blah, blah, blah hurt my family, or blah, blah, blah did this, and now I'm mad about this, blah, 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 okay? Get it. Got it, okay?
We got a whole episode
This whole episode tells the story.
Yeah, of his history, of his story since the end of season 1
of Agent Liberty, and it's all done in flashbacks, but it shows how he connects to all of our characters. So we start out, at the end, we have a little bit of stuff that's going on now because we got to pick up Supergirl's falling, and John Jones catches her and takes her to the DEO, and Alex is Alex is checking her out. To make sure that she's okay.
Yeah, because she's basically dying of kryptonite poisoning right now.
And that's the main setup. And then, so while that's going on, okay, we get our flashback to 3 years ago. And it's when Supergirl gives her myriad speech about hope. And we see that it's Agent Liberty. His name is Ben Lockwood. His father, his son, and his wife. And the father's really down about aliens. Really hates on aliens. And we see Ben trying to talk, and be calm and trying to find this medium ground of, just connecting with them and everybody living harmoniously.
Being a tolerant and good person is how he starts out.
I hate that term tolerance, but we won't go there.
Well, when you see where it goes, it's basically what it was.
Yeah, so we have this discussion, and we find out that they're receiving nth metal. That they're gonna make an nth metal plant, and we find out that Ben's father owns a steel mill. That's his, Lockwood Family Steel. And we find out that Luthor Corp / L Corp has always purchased their steel from Lockwood Steel for their construction. Well, now it's going to be made from nth metal because it's supposed to be better. So now he's getting put out of work. And Ben is trying to be on the positive, and we see the workers revolt, and there's a truck driver who's an alien, leaving the nth metal plant. They attack, and in the chaos, the alien shoots one of its spikes out, hits Ben, who's trying to broker a peace between the two, as the DEO shows up, and Supergirl, and then when Ben wakes up, did you get the sense that immediately, Alex didn't even listen to what he was saying, was already judging him? Yeah, she definitely felt that he was in the middle of it already. That he wasn't there trying to help. That he was involved in the fighting. Yeah, he woke up and was like, "No, I tried to stop this. I tried to help." And she makes a comment about Supergirl really went easy on him, and I just thought it was interesting that Alex already was putting him down, and he makes a comment about what the FBI is doing there. Why is the FBI involved with aliens? Well, then we get a cut. He's a teacher. We find out he's a teacher, and he's talking about progress. And he has a really good speech about when progress happens. I'm paraphrasing. Basically, someone's always going to suffer. When we create something new, it's going to hurt something else. We see that in our life. If we want to think about, we have online ordering and stuff like Amazon and how progressive it is, but we're seeing businesses go out. There's no longer Blockbuster Videos or bookstores hardly, or, Toys R Us is gone and stuff like that is disappearing. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm listening.
But, he makes that comment, and then we skip ahead to when the Daxamites invade. And, Basically, we see he's trying to leave his house. We found out his dad's plant's going under. His dad closed it. A Daxamite soldier and Martian Manhunter fight right there in their front lawn. Their house gets destroyed. And they fly off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they lose their house in the fire. And he's starting to become jaded at this point. Father losing the plant.
And then
plant shutting down, and then the Daxamite invasion, and then the family losing the house. And then he goes to Catco, to Jimmy, to basically try and get them to like run stories about like what's happening to the individual that when this is happening, because as the reporting is, it's very, it's broad spectrum, trying to see what's going on.
And he's talking about his homeowner's insurance and stuff. Alien attacks not being covered, and what's going on. And then like you said, he's starting to get jaded. He's starting to get upset because he's trying to do what's right and be good, but nothing around him's helping him. And basically, we see he's given a speech about nativism and Ben Franklin, and we find out that there are aliens in his class. And this is showing the world where aliens just are out and free among us. And it's not like it's like something so simple, and they're there, and the alien girl gets offended like she's being attacked. And in a way he kind of is, but in a way he's kind of pointing out something about the mindset that some of these humans are starting to have. And because he makes a comment about the American working person, the human, how aliens affect their jobs because aliens can lift something that humans can't. They can fly it, so no longer do we need trucks and distribution. Like all these things that we rely on for employment and jobs that having aliens can do that takes away from the working people. Well, we find out that Ben loses his job, his tenure, because of supposedly being reported about what he's talking about in his class. And he follows the alien girl to the bar where he's talking to her. And then Supergirl, as Kara, is hanging out there. And the thing is, this scene is really interesting because he's talking to her about, you got me fired. Did you get me fired? And she says no. And we don't know. And he's getting upset. And then Kara pops in. And it's the first time that we actually hear Ben use the term roaches as a derogatory towards aliens, which he had heard his father say before. And Ben corrected him like, no, we don't say that.